go ahead and kick it off. So today we are going to be making a very fluffy wreath for my friend Loretta. We are going to be doing a farm wreath with this farm sweet farm sign. So you see that we're going to have some black in here. We got some chickens. We are going to be using some, this is a poly jute mesh. So this is red and beige checkered, which kind of goes to the farmhouse theme, but you wanted this one to have some red accent. So we're definitely doing that. But we are going to do 21-inch jute mesh as our base. So our ruffles are only going to be our extra little jewel on top of the wreath crown, if you will. We're going to put in some white florals. This is what I have available. I'm probably not going to use all of them because that's a lot, but I just wanted to have different choices available. And then I have different ribbons. This is Farm Fresh, so it's red and white checkered, and it's got all these farm animals on there. And then we have basically same printed pattern, Country Life, Farm Fresh, Simply Blessed, but this is in more of a beige with the black. And then one of my 4-inch ribbons is going to be this, it's chicken wire and it's got black and white chickens. The other 4-inch ribbon is going to be the red chicken wire, which I love. I've used this a lot before. And then we also have chicken wire in a beige. I have cut some tails already just to save some time. But this is the fun print. Look at the bandana print. That is so cute, so fun. And it goes with bandana balls. I got these from the at-home store. These were $6.99 from the at-home store, but they're bandana balls. These were in the 4th of July section, but I thought these are perfect for farmhouse and country. So we picked that up as well. And then I do have a little 1.5-inch Swiss dot. And then I have a 1.5-inch red and white checkered, just for a little extra layer on the bow. And then a 7/8 in a solid black. So for right now, I am going to put all these ribbons aside. There are so many ribbons. It is ribbon palooza going on over here. But I want to get them out of the way so that we can focus on making our wreath. Here we go. I haven't turned on my fan yet. I'm hoping not to have to do that because I don't want it to distract with any of the sound. But, you know, the sweaty fat chick might need the fan. All right, so I'm going to put this sign. I'm going to put it behind me. I don't want anything to scratch it, so I'm going to make sure it's really super safe. Remind me I put it there because I'm going to think I lost it. All right, now I'll talk about this when I get to it. But the base right now is going to be, this is, I think this is is it a 24-inch? 10. Yeah. So I think this is the large wreath frame. I got this one from Craft Outlet. So this has, I believe it has 10 on the outside, 8 on the inside. So I have 18 spots where I need to attach mesh and ribbons. So how I'm going to start this off is with, this is one roll of the Celebrated jute mesh that came from Michael's. Now I bought the contractor packs, so I was able to get a pretty good price on this. I got it for I think about $5 a roll. When I buy contractor packs, they don't typically have sales on those unless you apply for the Michael's credit card. I did that. And you can apply that coupon, when I did it at least, you can apply the coupon to the contractor pack. So I bought a ton of mesh when I did that. And this is, I like their jute mesh. I only use the 21-inch value mesh when I'm making tomato cage trees because I want a mesh that's going to be softer and thinner. So if you can get that on sale when they have their sales, it's not a bad deal. But I typically don't use a lot of 21-inch mesh anymore, but sometimes if I'm going to make like a nice fluffy wreath, I'll do that. So I dropped the whole roll down to my feet. That way I can just pull it up and it's not in the way. So I'm going to gather all of this up. All right. Now some people will start with the poof like this and they'll just kind of put the poof in there. So I think I'm going to try that this time. Sometimes I can, I'll just zip tie it in there. But I think this time, no, you know what? I do it for a reason. I want to zip tie it because I want to make sure it's really, really secure. So I'm just going to get a really small zip tie from over here. All right. I'm just going to put it right in here. Okay. It's right between these. I call these little tines, but they're really like branches. Okay. Now I'm gonna just zip this around here real quick. I just want to make sure I know that nothing is going to ever slide out. I always do what is most secure, and this is what works for me. This is what I like to do. Other people probably do it differently, and hey, that's cool. Everybody got their own thing. Everybody's got their own thing. Okay, so I think these are going to be roughly 10-inch poofs. So I'm going to start by making a poof. Let's see what a 10-inch poof looks. Yeah, it's about a 10-inch poof. So let's see what 10 inches looks like. Okay, and then I'm going to fluff it out. That's big. That's big. Let's go a little bit smaller. That is good. Maybe that is actually 10 inches. Maybe I mismeasured, so let me double check. Yeah, this is 10 inches. I mismeasured the first time. So it is a 10-inch poof. Because we want to have the little bubble going between the two, but we don't want it so massive that when we go to put the ribbons on there, that it kind of squishes the mesh and everything kind of gets lost. So we're going to make some 10-inch poofs all the way around this wreath frame. I forgot to buy more wreath frames from Craft Outlet, so I'm going to have to place another order. Because I have another wreath that I'm doing for Loretta. It's another farmhouse, but it's more of like a beige with like black and white accent. But I actually might also use an evergreen wreath frame because that holds up really well outside as well. So I think I might do that. Those are always my favorite. That is my go-to now, is typically trying to make everything in one of those evergreen wreaths. But this one, because I have the red, I thought this would just be perfect. Because I actually want to see some of these sticking out in the wreath. So let me double check comments. I don't want to be ignoring anybody. If you're here, drop me a line. Let me know how your weekend was, what you've been up to. How bad is the weather by you? It's starting to get warm here by Chicago, here in the western suburbs. It's, I think, almost 80. We're going to be up to 80 today. I was outside before putting some chemicals in the pool, and it does feel warm, which is nice because it was very cold over the weekend. We wanted to sit outside and have a fire in the little fire pit, and it was too cold. I did that a couple days ago, and I had a blanket out there. We're making s'mores, and it was kind of fun, but then like when I started chattering, like I think it's time to go in. So it's very rare for it to be that chilly here at the end of May. It was strange, but we'll take it because it's going to get really hot soon enough. All right. Now the jute mesh does maybe shed a little bit more. I haven't seen anything happen yet. I think it's more like when I cut it, it might tend to fray a little bit more, but so far, so good. We're almost done with our inner ring, so when I go to the next one, what I do then is I'll jump it down to the lower ring. I think I might have to make this one a little bit bigger. Let's take a look. Oh no, that fluffed out really good. Okay, so let me gather my mesh, okay? And then this is where it kind of started. So I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to actually kind of put that poof over it so this kind of goes underneath it. And then I just kind of twist it and then make my poof. And I start working to the bottom. When I first started making wreaths, I would actually cut it and then stop and then move to the bottom. Realized I don't need to do that. I can just kind of move it around to the bottom, and I'll show you what I mean. So right here, this is where we ended on the top. And I'm just going to take it right down here. Okay? And then we're going to poof it out. Actually, I might need to make it a little bit larger. I think I came in a little narrow because I'm doing this from behind. There we go. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Ah, sorry, my hands are getting stuck in there. All right. So that's what that looks like. All right, so it just kind of came down. Looks natural. Nothing looks strange about it. I'm going to take a seat because my back hurts. All righty. Much better. Plus this hides my chubby gut. So, you know. The camera adds 60 pounds. Just remember that. When you look at me, the camera adds 60 pounds. All right. Making the bubbles. There definitely is a smell to this this mesh. It's not terrible. I would define it as like a very outdoorsy kind of smell. It's like it kind of almost smells like a real barn. It actually kind of smells like wood chips, like mulch a little bit. Because I just put a bunch of mulch down the last couple of weeks. And it kind of has like a little bit of like that earthy kind of smell, which is nice. Because this is a farmhouse wreath, so if it smells kind of farmy, not like animal gross farmy, you know, like manure farmy, you know. But just, you know, love the smell like fresh cut grass. So last night, I don't know what happened, but it was like 3 a.m. and I think I sneezed like 6 times in a row, and I woke up my kid and the dog starts barking, and it was a whole thing. I want to make this one a little bit bigger. You know, I don't want it to look too small. You can afford to go a little bit bigger on the outside poofs because there is, I think the space is kind of the same because there's 2 extra tines. So the spacing is pretty similar, but you just have more room to go out without it hitting anything. So you can afford to go a little bit bigger on the outside ones if you wanna. It's all personal preference. I love making the big wreaths like this and then putting the florals in there, and it just looks really inviting when you have a nice, fun, large wreath on your front door. It just looks like, hey, that's a house that would be fun to hang out at, you know? I actually have a Patriotic garland that I made last year, and I think I had it at Painted Tree last year and it didn't sell, but I have it this year, and I am considering just putting it out above my own front door for 4th of July. But we'll see. I don't know. I think I'm still going to I probably should just try to list it. Okay, here we go. See, we're getting the bubbles now. We just got a couple more to do over here on this side, and then after we do this, we're going to add in those mesh ruffles because it has the beige, but now we want to start bringing in some of those notes of red. So we're going to do that. Ooh. Boy, there were a lot of graduation parties going on our block over the weekend and stuff. It's so exciting to see all these kids graduating. They work so hard, and I'm really glad that we don't have COVID anymore and people can actually have graduation parties and nobody gets cheated out of their, you know, their ceremony to walk and any of that stuff. So I'm very, very happy that that is done. All right, I'm coming to the end of my roll here. I gotta make one more bubble, and I think I can do it. All right, so I'll show you. See, now this one came down, right? So this kind of covers it, so I can end it here, right? So I need just to make one more bubble out of that mesh. And I'm just barely gonna make it. Yep. Just barely made it. All right, but I don't have to have this one be necessarily too big either. Yeah, okay, that one's too big. I want to fill it in, but like, we don't have to, you know, make it that big. Okay. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is get another zip tie. And I like to actually just do my tie, and then I cut it. All right, nice and smooth. And again, I could have just folded it over and gone back underneath that, but I just want to make sure that it ain't falling out. All right. That's pretty good. So here is, this is big and this is fluffy. Right now we are measuring, that's 10, this is 32, So it's about, well, is it closer to, yeah, it's just shy of 24 inches. So once we get the ruffles in there, it'll definitely get bigger too. So here's where we're going to bring over our ruffles. I'm going to move my pre-cut ribbon tails. I don't want to mess them up. So this is 10-inch mesh. I'm going to show you this is the 10-inch wide mesh. I cut these pieces at 18 inches a piece because I had one roll that was 10 yards, which is 30 feet. And I think I had one piece left over because I need 18 pieces. So that's why I went with 18 inches. So how I'm going to do this is I want this to be fluffy curly. So you see how I lay it down and it naturally wants to curl up. So we're going to do that. We're going to follow that. I'm going to roll the end in 3 times. I'm going to roll the other end in 3 times. Then I'm going to walk up the center. Okay, I'm just going to crinkle it up until I make a bow tie shape. Now, sometimes you could put them down. If you don't want it as fluffy, you could put the curls down, but I want it fluffy, so I'm going curl side up. So I'm going to open up a set of tines. Okay, and you notice the mesh doesn't pop out. It stays right in there. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to close it back up and just give it a good twist. Just kind of fluff it a little bit. So I'm going to do that all over the inside and then all over the outside. Here we go. I'm trying to lay this. If I lay it flat, then hopefully my goal is I just peel off the top layer and it doesn't really stick to itself quite so much, but it tends to stick. So here I go, 1, 2, 3 with the roll. The other end, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Scrunching up the center. Bow tie shape. All right. Do this all across the top. Sometimes I'll just open it up and leave it in there so that when I make the ruffle, I don't have to worry about opening it up. It's already open. So curling the bottom up 3 times, curling the top down 3 times, gathering it up the center. And it's nice to do this with a plaid mesh because it gives you the line right there so I don't have to guess. I know it's right there. Okay, I had to turn the fan on. I'm sorry. If I don't turn the fan on, things won't go well. All right, here we go. We get the next piece of mesh. All right. So I got 4 of you guys watching. Cindy, hey, how's it going, Cindy? From Oklahoma. Oh, it's rainy. I'm sorry. Man, Oklahoma has really been getting hit with all these tornadoes this year. It's awful between Oklahoma and in Iowa, too. My stepdaughter lives in Hampton, Iowa. So every time it says Iowa, I'm always worried. But you guys are really getting hit so hard with all these tornadoes this year. It's just, it's not fair. Mother Nature seems to have it out for certain states sometimes. I do live in the northern path of what they call Tornado Alley, but we haven't really got anything too bad. Although last year there was a small F1 tornado that did cut right through our neighborhood. It missed my house by about a block. I think it took down some trees and there was some damage, but it was minimal compared to some of the damage I've seen elsewhere in the country. So I don't think anybody here was complaining. We're lucky we kind of dodged a bullet with that. But yeah, it's Tornado Alley. We haven't really been getting hit, knock wood, too badly. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Another one of my favorite wreath buddies, Lindsay with Tarnation Creations. She also is in Oklahoma. I don't know if you've ever watched her, but she is fantastic and so sweet. Her and Courtney from the Southern Owls. It's so nice to have, make friends in the wreathing community, like-minded people with shared passions. It's fun because nobody gets it when you get so giddy and excited about a really nice 4-inch ribbon. It's I don't know. I guess it's our version of guys and superheroes in Marvel comics or whatnot. I don't know. But I like it. It's fun. All right. Curling 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Oh, I'm cooler. I feel much better. Sorry. I don't do well in heat, so I just got to make sure she's not hot or sweaty otherwise. Ugh. Alrighty. So now, this is what it looks like with the ruffles on the inside. Okay. Now we're going to go adding them to the outside ring. So this is about as thick as it's made it right now, which is, if I put that at 10 inches, we're looking, this is probably about a 6-inch tall wreath right now. Might get a little fluffier. We still have to put a bow on top and everything else. So it's going to get probably maybe, I would call this maybe 8 to 9 inches deep when we're done. All right, here we go. I like working with these wreath forms because they are very secure. They can hold a lot of weight too. Like if I'm adding a lot of things into a wreath, then I really do like using the 2-ring, like evergreen Christmas wreath is fantastic for that. Because it's really built to be sturdy. I do have some single ring evergreens that I bought from like Michael's and, you know, like really on clearance. And those work well too, as long as I'm not adding too much onto the wreath. Here we go. Especially if we have like heavier attachments or whatnot, definitely want to use something that is sturdy. Oops, there we go. This is going pretty quick though. I did pre-cut all of this, so I just thought I would save you guys the boredom of watching me have to sit there and cut and count and lose count and then have to go back and do it again. Because that's kind of my thing. All right. You know, I'm gonna have to start using these wreath frames again because I'm liking this. I'm really liking this. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure you guys can still see. This is a big fluffy boy. Okay. Coming around. All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. This is going pretty quick. I like making wreaths because just a couple minutes ago we just had all these individual products by themselves. And now we have something cute and big and fluffy. I like that. I like the feeling of creation. I am a wreath god! No. Because yesterday was the 7th day and I rested. No, I actually made 5 tomato cage trees yesterday. I started whipping out the snowman tomato cage tree stuff, all the mesh and the ornaments, and I made 5 trees over the weekend, and that was exhausting, but it's not so bad when you do it in front of Netflix. It makes the time go by pretty quick. So that wasn't too bad. I'm doing them assembly line style now too, which, you know, if you're going to make anything like repetitively, if you're going to make a bunch of the same thing, if you set it up like an assembly line, it does make it go faster and it is more efficient in terms of time. But there was like a lot of prep. Like I had to glue like a whole giant tall, I use like these tall canisters for the ornaments. So I had to glue all of those in red, white, and black, which took a while. I glue just around the, sorry, sidetrack. But see, just these sometimes pop off, the little silver things, so I want to make sure they don't ever pop off. So I add a little ring of glue to make sure that it stays on the ornament before I put it on the tomato cage tree. So that's why sometimes I'm not even making a tree, I'm just sitting here prepping the products for it. And that's like mindless stuff I can do in front of the TV, so I enjoyed that. I finished up watching Station 19 yesterday. It's series finale. All right, I have one left. I'm going to toss that back over here because I don't really need it. But I'm probably going to hold on to that thing for like a year and a half because I'm very bad about throwing away my little waste pieces. I'm like, hey, if I just use 11 more rolls of this, I'll have 12 and I can make a pancake wreath. I'm holding on to that tiny little piece forever. And then I go to use it and I want it and then I can't find it. All right, so this is our fluffy wreath. Here we go, big and fluffy. All right, now what I want to start doing is putting in some of the ribbon tails. Actually, you know what? First, I think I'm going to make a bow because that'll tell me how much I have left on those spools of ribbon. So I'm going to put this baby aside. Just remember how large this is, right? We're going to need a bow that's big enough to accommodate that. So first I'm going to bring over my Easy Bows Design Pro, favorite bow making tool. And I'm going to start with my I'm going to put my ribbons out in front of me here so I can see what I have to work with. So many ribbons. I'll move them all to the side. I just want you to be able to see what I have here to work with. All right. Lots of different ribbons, but I'm going to start these with a 4-inch. So what I'm going to start with is the red. Now, because I have 2 4-inch ribbons, I don't want to end up with a whole lot of ribbon tails that are coming out at the bottom of this wreath, because then it's going to like bubble out. We don't want that. So I'm going to do this where I have 1 tail of each ribbon. I'm going to have a loop and a loop, and I'm going to have a long tail and then a short tail coming out of the top. So if you can kind of think of it like a cross, that's kind of the shape we're going to make. All right. So I'm putting this in here. I like to start my dovetails right now. I dovetail as I go. Most people don't. This is just a quirk I have. All right. So I think for the length of this bow, I'm going to start off with, let me see how long this is. It's, get over there. That's 20 inches. This is probably about almost a 16-inch tail, because that is a large wreath. But I can always make this smaller. I can cut the tails down later. But I can't add more. So I'm going to pinch and twist. Now I took it out of here to do the pinch and twist, just because it's 4-inch ribbon, it gets a little bit thicker. But if you pinch it and twist it, you should have the pretty side facing up toward you, and the icky side is on my left if you're behind my shoulder. Okay, so I get the icky side. I'm going to bring, normally I'd whip it in front, but I don't want to block your view. I bring it through here, and I'm going to make this, this is pretty thick here, so I'm going to go with 7.5 inches for the width on that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do 8. So I'm going to do 8 on this layer. That's 8 inches. And then here we have 8 inches over here. Now, I did just notice that there is a splice in my ribbon. It's on the back of the bow, so the back of this loop, so you're not going to see it, so I can leave that. If for some reason that splice were on the front, all I would have to do is take that loop and twist the whole loop, and then it would be obscured. But you're seeing it now because I flipped it the other way. But that's just a tip on if you find a splice in an inopportune space, there are ways to get around it. So this one is going to come out to the top. Now I'm going to measure it out to the side first, because I usually go about 1 inch past where this went. So I'm going to cut this off here at 9 inches. Okay. I'm cutting it at 9. Then I'm going to take this top one. I'm going to push this. I'm going to fold it in half, right? So our wired edges are together. All right. And I'm going to cut from the inside here. I'm going to cut at an angle outward toward the end of those wires. And then we have a very pretty, what they call a dovetail shape. That's what it means to dovetail. All right. And I'm probably going to use this again to make some other tails. But so right now, this is the shape of the bow. Okay. And it's not going to be totally straight up and down. It's going to be a little opposites. That's what this whole thing is, just going to be opposites. So think kind of like an X. All right. So the next layer we're going is as our little chicky. All right. Let me put the pen over here. Here we go, little chicky. Now, this is directional ribbon. What that means is there is an up and down. We don't want our chickens going up and down. So I'm going to have to be careful. When I make my loops, I'm going to have to twist one of my loops so that chicky is not upside down. Or I guess it's a rooster. I don't know. I don't know the difference. I know I'm terrible. All right. I'm going to put this right through here. Now my end, I'm going to end this just about 1 inch above where the other one ended. Okay. So then that means this is roughly what is that, like 10 inches? This is about a 15-inch tail. The other one was 16. This is a 15-inch tail, okay? I'll mess with that later. So now, I did the pinch and twist, okay? So this is my icky side. I'm going to bring this around. Now, this was an 8-inch loop, so I'm going to make this one at 7.5 because I do not want to cover the entire layer underneath me, right? So we're going to do 7.5. Maybe, you know what, maybe, yeah, we'll do 7.5. Okay. So that's 7.5. And I'm not squishing it down. I'm still leaving it, you know, it's curved. I'm not smashing it when I measure that. Okay, now I'm going to take the other side. I'm going to make sure I got my pinch and twist so that I see the white side now over here. Trying not to block your view. Bring this down and have that at, yep, 7.5. Perfect. Bring this out. Cut this just a little bit larger than that. Snip, 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 snip. Okay. Now we got to fix our loops. So let me get this out of the way real quick. All right, Chicky Dicky, you over there. This guy, he's upside down. I have to take that loop, pinch it and twist it. All right, and that still looks good. So now this is the next layer. So this is what we have so far. Now, what is the next layer going to be? Ooh, 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 ooh. I do have this Country Life, but I might leave that out. That might be a little bit too much red going on. It's also the same pattern as this beige, and I think I'd really like to use the beige because I want pops of red, but I don't want this to be like totally all red. So I think the next one I'm going to go with is chicken wire. All right, so let me dovetail. Okay, so now I had my one tail over here. This tail is over here on the other side. Now I'm going to go back to the original side, which is my right. And this is going to be about a 14-inch tail. Yep, 14-inch tail. Perfect. Yeah, a little bit shorter. There we go. All right, pinch and twist. Okay, here we go. See the back side. You know, I should have flipped it the other way. It's my fault. Sorry. I'm usually more organized than this when people aren't watching me. Okay, so if this one was 7.5, this loop is going to be 7. Okay. Like a skinny 7. All right, now I pinched and twisted, so I have the back side over here. Now I'm going to make this a 7-inch loop. Where's my 7? Here we go. Okay, now I take my tail, go just past the end of it. I'm going to dovetail. What's nice about having these tails up at the top is that they're going to cascade over the top of the wreath, and it's going to look really pretty. All right, so we just put our next layer on. So let me show you what that looks like right now. We have that. Very pretty. All right, next layer. Now we're going to go with the red bandana because I don't want to cover up. This is the cute pattern. This is Farm Fresh, so I don't want to cover that up. So we're going to go with red. Plus, we also had red, white, beige. Now I'm going to go red, and then we'll have beige. Okay. This loop is coming over here. About an inch higher than the one below it. Okay. Now we're going to want this loop. I'm going to bring this one in at 6, to be honest. Well, all right, 6.5. 6.5. All right. I did a pinch and twist. I have a 6.5. All right. This is going to come up. You cut just past this. Okay. We're going to dovetail. There we go. Oh, and I pick up my little pieces as I go because OCD. Leslie, Linda, how's it going? Oh, Cindy, I live in Plainfield. So I'm kind of like western suburbs. Deb, and Liz. Dina, my friend from high school. I was going to say old friend, but we don't want to use the word old. We're going to say my longtime friend. How's that? Is that better? I don't want to say old. We're not old. We're vintage. We're classic now. Oh my gosh. It's funny hearing the kids talk about like songs on the radio, like the oldies, and they're talking about like stuff like we listen to. Like, what are you doing? We're not that old. Oh, remember what oldies was like 50s and 60s. Oh gosh. Okay, so the next layer we're going to do is Farm Fresh. And it has all these cute sayings on here. It says Simply Blessed, Country Life. It's got a chicken, a pig, a cow. It's basically kind of making me want a cheeseburger right now. Sorry, cow. But this, again, is directional ribbon, so we're going to have to really keep an eye on what direction everything is going. Now, this one starts at the top, so what I have to do with this is I have to start at the top and work my way down. So this is a little different than we're used to, but don't be afraid of the directional ribbon. Okay, I put that in there. Now I'm just going to go pinch and twist. It's just like doing the same thing we did, but just in reverse. Pinch and twist. So if that was a 6.5 inch, or that was a 6-inch loop, right? Yep. So now we're going to do a 5.5 inch loop. You can see I'm kind of coming in a 1/2 inch every time I do another layer. So we have 5.5. Also, when I'm done with this and I get it all tightened and put the zip tie on it and get it in the wreath, this thing is going to shrink in because you're taking the center and you're kind of like sucking it in. So it's going to come in from the outside. It's going to look like we made it lose a little weight. It's like we put a girdle on it. We put Spanx on the bow and it's going to be skinnier than you thought. Oh, I like it too much to put Spanx on it. Ugh. Girdles. Who invented that? Ugh. All right, here we go. Trim the bottom. Now I'm going to trim a little bit more because I want to make sure this comes again 1 inch above the layer below. Okay. Now I have to take this loop and I'm gonna give him a little extra slack here because I got to pinch him and twist him. There we go. Otherwise our little piggy was upside down. Now I'm looking at a chicken and a right side up piggy. Okay, that does it for our 2.5 inch. So now we're going to move on to our 1.5 inch layer. So what we're going to do first is add this. I guess it's a, I don't know. I call it it's like a gingham print, I guess they call it. I like to just call it picnic print because it looks like tablecloth. All right. Now the end of this is not super, this isn't like super stiff. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to bend it. I'm going to bend it over. 1, 2, 3 times. Let's kind of give it a little bend, right? And then that actually looks cute and intentional. So I'm going to bring this down this way, stopping about 1 inch above there. So again, I'm not dovetailing this one, okay? I'm not dovetailing it. Bringing this over. This is probably going to be about a 5-inch loop. And this one it's very airy, very kind of a thin material. I didn't have anything thicker, but I think this is going to hold up perfectly because it brings in that other element of the country. Now this one I'm going to go longer on my tail. I'm cutting it here because I have to fold it over, and I'm going to fold it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And Liz, if you're still on, I'm going to have to text you later because I bought some stuff for our costumes last night. Liz and I are going to a wreath making event next month, and there is a costume contest or a costume party, and we are coordinating our costumes, and they're going to be fun. I'm excited. I haven't done that in a long time, and I think it's a costume that we can continue to wear again and again in the future. All right. So that was that layer. Now I love this black and white, the black and beige Swiss dot. It's so pretty. It's dainty, but it's still kind of rustic because it's the beige with the black. So this one I will dovetail. All right. You know what? I think I'm actually going to take this layer off. Okay. I'm going to put this one over here because I have beige and beige. I'm going to put that one over here. And I'm going to put the red one on top. So I'm going to actually move that around. It just spoke to me that way. Like, it just needed to be that way. I mean, it didn't. Like, I'm not hearing voices or anything. Not anymore. The medications fixed that. There we go. All right. All right, let's put this behind me. Oh, gosh, my back. Oh, old age stinks. All right. So now, I'm actually going to put this kind of right over where it was. Actually, no, I'm not. Here we go. I'm remaking it. Sorry. I'm putting it kind of down the other way. But I mean, I'm still using the same folds where I had it before, but it might be a little bit smaller now. Yeah. That'll be better. I'll just have to fix the end. Perfect. This comes over. I'm going to actually trim this. I don't need it to be that long, so I'm going to trim what I already did. And I'm going to go bend. Bend and bend. And here we go. All right, cool. There we go. It's looking awesome. Now for my very last layer, I do want to have a very thin, this is a thin black. It's just going to add a pop of black on the top. It's not going to be too dark. It's not going to drag down the colors of the wreath. Now this one, I don't dovetail. You see I cut that on an angle going downward because I don't like to dovetail the 7/8 inch. Oh, this is too long too. Hold on. There we go. All right, so this is going to come in. Yeah, right about there. That's good. And let's say this loop is probably, that looks like a 4-inch. Yep, it's a 4-inch loop. It's funny, the more you do this, the more you can eyeball something and kind of get to tell, like, yep, that's 3-inch, that's 4-inch. And I'm usually right. All right. Okay, so now we've got our bow made. So now what do I do with it? Well, I turn around and I grab 2 red pipe cleaners. Now I want to make one really long pipe cleaner. It's going to go on the back of this bow. I don't want to have to fight with it by just using, if I fold this in half, that's not a lot of stuff to work with on either side. So I'm going to make one long one. I just take the ends and I just twist it together. And I make a really long one. Now you can go shop at places like DecoExchange and I think Craft Outlet might have, I think like the 18 or 24 inch chenille stems. It's a pipe cleaner. But I just, if I can make it like this, it's good enough for me. I'm going to grab one of my larger, thicker, more heavy duty zip ties because I have 4-inch ribbon. I will always use a heavy dutier zip tie. Heavier dutier? That didn't make any sense. All right, so I'm gonna get my fingers, I'm gonna pull the bow up just a little bit, just enough to get my fingers underneath, okay? Then I am going to push down on the top while I'm pulling up on the bottom, okay? I'm trying to get this up like a big old BLT sandwich, all right? Squish, squish, squish. I'm going to put this right behind my fingers. I'm going to put this is going to come out between my fingers, wrapping it over, coming around. I very rarely will lose a bow this way. So once I hear it click a couple times, I'm going to move that around to the back. Now don't pull it too tight yet, because I want to make sure everything looks okay and I don't have to do any major adjustments. That looks good. Now I can yank the crud out of this thing. I'm squishing down. You don't want any of your layers to go sliding back and forth. You just want to go straight down. So squish it straight down, especially that topmost ribbon. All right. There we go. I'm going to snip it off the back. There we go. All right. Now we're going to play with it and fluff it out a little bit. The fun stuff. All right. So I like to just take my zip tie and I just twist it once. I want to make sure it's not going to slide around under the zip tie in case it gets loose for some reason. Okay. So let's fluff our bow. Okay, I'm going to start at the back. So here's our red tail. I'm running my fingers down the wires because that's what gives it that nice, what makes it kind of pop back. It's a nice finish to the edges. I'm going to be careful when I do that on the red and white one though. There we go. Black, go. All right, now these are coming up. It's easier to really finalize it too after I get it on the wreath. All right, but for right now, here we go. Here's our pretty farmhouse bow. And if I weren't going to put it on the wreath, we could actually just put it on the door by itself. You just make a loop with the pipe cleaner. You just twist it, make a loop, twist it, and you just hang it on a nail, and it'll stay there. So this can also go on a lantern. You could do a smaller version for a lantern. You could put it on like a railing at the bottom of the staircase if you want to do patriotic bows. You can put it on a mailbox. I mean, bows can be everywhere. In a perfect world, everything would be adorned with a bow. I think I'm a little, yeah, I know. A little cray-cray with that. All right, let me move some of these out of the way that I'm not going to use. These I'm going to move over to the side here, back over by my bow maker. And now, because I'm going to use some of those other ribbons, I might make a second smaller bow. But it won't be till the end. I got to see if I've got room for it. More toward the bottom. So we have our bow. I'm going to bring my wreath back up. Whee! All right. Now, she's a big beauty. Look at that big beauty. All right. So I'm taking the pipe cleaners and I'm going to go right down. I'm going to kind of put one right here. See where I got these tines? There's already like a path. Don't put your pipe cleaner through the mesh. You just follow the path that's already there for you on the wreath. Now, with this bow, oops, come on. There are 2 rings on this wreath, and right now I'm just going to wrap it around the top, like the topmost rung. I'm not going to wrap it around rungs 1 and 2. It's just going around the first one. All right. Now I haven't tightened it yet. I'm just trying to see if I like that because I'm going to play with my sign. Let me get my sign real quick. Hey, I remembered where I put it. Yay me! All right. I'll kind of do this. Farm fresh. And then I'm going to do maybe a smaller bow down there on the bottom. So I do like the placement of where I have this. So I guess I could pull it up a little bit. Let me see if I go over. If I go over the next rung. Yeah, I'm going to go over the next rung. So I've got it over rungs 1 and 2. This lets me pull it up a little bit higher on the wreath. All right, and I'm just twisting it. So I've secured it. I'm just twisting this right back here. I'm going to twist it. I'm going to twist the ends together so it makes one long solid piece, so it's not 2 pieces. I'm just kind of twisting them together. I'm going to trim off the edge so it's flush. And then I'm just going to rewrap this right around the frame. Okay. Wrap it, and then I just tuck it right in. And there we go. That way, I like to leave the tails long enough too. If you ever want to switch out a bow, you want to take a bow off a wreath and go use it somewhere else, that the pipe cleaner on the back is still long enough where you can do that. And now see, when I'm bringing out these tails, we get a chance to see all these tails because there's only one of each kind coming down. So it's not overdone on the bottom of the bow. You can still see all the individual ribbons, and it's not too much. Okay, so here we are. That's what we have so far. Okay, now I'm going to go put this sign in. Like I said, I'm going to do it on a bit of an angle. So I'm going to face it toward me just so I can get the angle right. Okay, got that. This is going to be here. All right, so, and again, so how I attached this was, if you look on the back, this came with a rope attached on the sign. I cut off the rope. Don't use it because if you attach it from there, it's just going to swing your sign, okay? I cut that off. I took, because I have longer staples, my staples are 5/16. I took 2 pieces of cardboard. It's my mesh tube. I cut the tube and I used those cardboard strips, cut them into squares. I put 2 underneath each here. I put together 2 pipe cleaners. So I wrapped them together like we did before with the bow to make one long one on either side. And I stapled it 3 times into the sign. And you can see nothing came through the front. Everything is fine. So now I'm going to attach the sign. I'm going to see first. This might take me 1 or 2 tries. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Now, I'm not going to deal with the back of the wreath yet because I might have to tighten my sign and whatnot. So I'm not wrapping it around the frame. I'm not cutting anything off yet. I want to get everything else placed properly first before I would ever mess with that. Okay. So right now, this is what we have. I do want to put, I think, another smaller little bow right down there on the bottom. A different style than this one though, okay? So this is going to use, I'm going to go with the red on the bottom. So here, let me bring this back over. This will be quick. This is going to be a quick bow, okay? And this is going to have 2 tails that come down. This is your traditional bow style, right? Where you got the 2 loops and then the 2 bows coming straight down. So the tails are going to be small. They're only going to come down like about that. So this is, what is it in terms of a tail? That is like a, that's like a 10-inch tail. And again, I can make it smaller. So now for the loop coming here, those are really, really, really big. We don't need to go this wide on this bow. We're going to bring it in. We're going to go, bring this down in here. We're going to go, I'd say 6.5 inches on either side. So there's 6.5. Pinch and twist. Bring it over. Push it back through. Make another loop on this side at 6.5. All right. Now, I just bring my 2 tails together. So where's the other tail? And I cut just a little bit lower than that. And then I dovetail it. And that is the base of this bow. Now, I'm not going to use every single ribbon that we used in that other bow. Actually, let me check comments. Amy's watching. Hey, hey. Mandy. Mandy girl. I love you. I love you, dear. I would love to see you soon. I can't believe your kids both graduated, too. Like, they're little. I remember going to your baby showers. Oh, my gosh. It was crazy. The years, they flew, and oh my gosh, your daughter looks just like you. Like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Okay, here we go. Wrapping this around. Here we go. I want to use Country Life, and I probably want to use maybe a little bandana. Okay, I lied. I'm going to use 4 of them. I think. Yeah. Well, let me think. Yeah, I can do that. I'm going to take that one out because again, I've already got that pattern. We've already got that pattern on there. So we're going to go, I'm going to stick, see, I don't like to put red on red, you know, but I think for the purposes of this one, we'll be okay. Because I can't have too many 2.5-inch ribbons. So we're going to go down this way. An inch shorter than the tail, than the length of the tail before it. So this was a 6.5 inch. Now we're going to go 6 inch on that loop. Getting loopy. Getting loopy. 6 inch. And 6 inch. All right. I'll cut this off down here. Don't cut my skin. I did that last week. I was trying to just dovetail a bow, and I cut myself in a very strange way. So I'm very careful with my scissors since then. All right, so now we're going to go with our Simply Blessed. This will also help me see how much I have left. I need to make more tails. I made 12 tails. I'm going to need more than that. Get me some tail. Yeah, no. All right. All right, now, okay, so this is directional. So I'm not going to really make, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to make a tail, okay? So I'm going to do a tail and a loop. All right, so I pinched and twisted, coming through. This loop is 5.5. All right, and then I'm bringing the tail down. So I have a tail, a loop, and a tail, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side, just so you don't think I'm crazy and leaving it lopsided. I'm going to fix it. We're going to be patient. We'll get there. All right. Other side. Snip. Here we go. It almost looks like a little bit of antenna. Making sure they're the same height. All right. Now let's go make a loop. And again, that was 5.5 on that one side. We're going to do 5.5 on this side. Swing through. All right. Wasn't thinking I was going to have to use that, what I call the picnic ribbon again. But, okay, so I have to pinch these. I got to pinch the loops because they're upside down when you look at the animals. Sorry. Okay, now I got a cow and a pig. All right, perfect. So I'm going to pull this down so that between the tail and the loop, I'm going to be able to see that bandana fabric, okay? Pull that down, see the bandana. There we go. All right, now I feel like I need a little bit of red. And a little bit of a break for my back. Oh, Lord. Oh, things are creaking and groaning, and I'm staying seated for the remainder. Here we go. Again, I'm going to fold this up because this it doesn't cut the best. So I'm going to roll it up 3 times. And if a little bit of wire sticks out, then I'm just going to trim that off. But I like how it just makes a cute, different little finish on the bottom. I like it. Okay. So down. I did a pinch and twist. Now our loop on this one is probably going to be at what? That was 5. This will be 4.5. 4.5. Bring it down. And let's cut. Let's cut one. Anybody can cut one, guys. It's me. 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. So we got our little extra touch of red here. We'll put that right there. All right. And now we're going to finish it off with the Swiss dot, which I love. Oh, actually, after Swiss dot, we're going to do black. I lied at the beginning when I told you guys we're going to use all the ribbons. We used all but 1, or but 2. So I didn't really lie. I changed my mind, which I can do because it's my prerogative. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. It's my prerogative. Sorry. I'm not Bobby Brown. All right. Here we go. Snippy, snippy. And then we're going to add that little black layer using that, using the 7/8. Just for an extra little fun touch at the end. You go there, and you go there, and I'll clean you up later. I always say I'm going to clean it up later. I don't. It just sits there until I get really fed up and then make a giant mess. All right. So now, this I'm just going to, I'm not going to actually make a big, well, maybe. Yeah, I guess I will. I'll make a small, tiny little bow, and then I'm going to do a center loop. So I'm going to twist. I'm coming back over here. I'm going to leave just like 2 fingers worth of a loop, okay? Maybe not even. 1.5 fingers. Now this tail is going to go down the same side as it was before, the other one. I'm going to cut it the angle a different way. And I'll drag it over once I'm done. But every time it has that really thin black ribbon on the top layer, I think it looks like Colonel Sanders. It looks like his little tie. And now I want chicken and biscuits. It's all about the food. All right, I'm gonna get a zip tie. And again, 2 more of the chenille stems. Eek. Oh, here we go. Because again, I don't want to have to fight with the mesh, so I'm going to make just 1 long stem just by wrapping these together. Wrapping, wrapping. All right. All right, I'm pushing down while I'm pulling up. Squishing it together. I don't want my layers falling out. Quickie zippy. You know what? I can use a smaller, thinner one. The reason I put a 7/8 on top is because a lot of times I don't want to end up seeing the zip tie or the chenille stem. So it's really kind of like it's a camouflage, really. All right, push down, pull, 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 pull. All right, here we go. Snip. All right. Okay. So yeah, coming down. So 2 and 2. All right. All these tails will be coming down. It's behind there. Right. That one's kicking over. Loop, loop. And that center one, I'm going to open it up and it's going to cover the zip tie that's on that side. Right. And that's kind of what we've got. Now you could always have put it upside down in the directional. It would have been fine, but I have room here for some little tail tops to come up, so I thought it would be cute. So let's add this baby on the bottom. Because by doing this and then I put the ribbon tails on, I don't want to put ribbon tails on and then cover it up with something else because that's just wasting product. We don't need to do that. All right. Putting, all right, I'm wrapping that down that way. And then another one. Making sure I'm not piercing. Pierce the veil. No, that's an emo band. I'm not piercing the mesh. But I also want to make sure that it's down far enough where these don't cover any of the wording on the side. All right, so that's kind of what I'm being cautious about right now, is watching for the wording. Mind your words. Okay, so I'm just twisting this. When I'm all done, I will twist it into its permanent position. But for right now, I'm just going to play with my Colonel Sanders tie. Oh. That looks better. Actually, I'll go that way. All right. And I'll show you what this looks like in just a second. I know it's hard not to be able to see exactly what I'm doing. Facebook likes to see the face, not my hands, so I got to show my face. Otherwise, it will not see that I'm doing too much with my hands, and it assumes I'm inactive and kicks me off. All right, so here's that second bow. So this is what we have right now. Okay, I like this. So I'm going to go in, and I have some ribbon ties already cut. I'm using the bandana print and the barbed wire print. The reason I'm not really going with this one is because if I make a ribbon tail and then we bend it in half of it's going to be upside down. And sometimes, I don't know, but we've got a lot of beige already, so, and the black, so that's why I went with the barbed wire. So I'm basically just going to put ribbon ties in here. So how I do it is, these are 14-inch long ribbons. So I have used my ribbon tail board by Hot Mesh Mom, and you can get this at shophotmeshmom.com. You see here it reflux. Sorry, it says 14 inches. So that's how long I did it. I wrapped it around this board 12 times, and then I cut each end so that I ended up with 12 pieces. And then I dovetailed these, so I just bent them together in a group. I did multiple at a time, bent them together, and then bent them over again. Okay, so they bent like this, and then they bent like this, and then I cut from the inside out. And that is how I ended up with all these pretty dovetailed ribbons. And it goes pretty quickly when you do it as a group. Let me check comments real quick. Aww. Oh, Loretta, I'm so glad you like it. I'm so glad. Hold on. I need a drink. Oh, so much better. Sorry. All I had was a Slim Fast shake this morning, and let's just say it's not cutting it. All right. So I want the bandana to be the top print. So I'm going to put that on the bottom. I'm going to put this on the top. Okay. And for the most part, these are going to go around the outside of the wreath. So I'm bending it in half. Okay. You can see I've got a crease now. I can see where it's creased. I'm going to walk my fingers up it. And now I have it, looks like this. I'm going to bend them down because I'm along the outside of the wreath. I'm not making them in like an X shape. I'm going to show you how I'm going to add it in here. Let me do it over like this way. Okay. So I'm going to open this up. We open it up. I notice the mesh doesn't pop out. It's fine. I put this in here all the way down at the bottom. I twist it again. Okay. And now I'm going to pull. The bottom one is going to be up, and then the red one's going to be on top, and then we alternate again. We do that. Bottom goes to the right, red goes to the left. And that is going to be all the way around the bottom of the wreath. And then we'll know how many more we need around the top. So there are 10 around the bottom outside of this wreath. Okay. I probably won't need to put one where this is. So I think I should have 3 extra to put somewhere along the top. But because we already have a bow We already have a sign. We might need like one here and maybe another one like down there somewhere, but not too many. So I'm gonna keep adding in my tails. And I love the farm print. The farmhouse, I think that's a style that's never gonna go out of style. It's classic. It is absolutely classic. And I don't have to worry about hiding these little red prongs because they coordinate. They look really cute with it. We're going underneath now. 1 and 2. Fold it over again. Here we go. I am moving on to Halloween. I did make a Halloween wreath. I made it Friday night, but here's the stupid thing I did. I was so tired I didn't realize what I did. I put it on my personal page and not on my Sweet Ari Decor page. So I did put it together and it got cut off. So I spliced both parts of my live into one video and I put it on YouTube. So there is a link to all the videos I have on my YouTube channel. It's in my link tree, but I also did make a post with the picture of that wreath and or me making the wreath. So you can find that tutorial if you like. Okay, I skipped the layer underneath the bow because I don't think you're really going to see it. I can always add one if I decide we need to, but I don't think we need to. I'm just going along the outside. Around the outside, around the outside. Sorry. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Sorry. Eminem. All right, here we go. Yeah, I'll definitely need to put a set of tails in this top one here. You know what? I'm here right now. I'm going to add it. I'm adding a set of tails into the top layer. I put my pipe cleaner there in an inopportune spot for it. So I'm going to tighten this real quick. Give me just a second. I'm just basically twisting that pipe cleaner in order to tighten it just a little bit more. Here we go. All right, and now I'm able to open up my tines and I can put another set right in there. So this is kind of at the corner of the sign, at the bottom of the bow. It's on the inner ring, but I think this is a spot that you would notice if it didn't have something there. So that's why I'll put that in there. Do-do-do. And that one can kind of come up. So this is going to make more of the X shape when it's on the top layer, as opposed to just going down, 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 down on an angle. This one can kind of come up and you can see it's a bit more of an X shape. And that'll cover kind of going up toward the top. All right. Now I'm going on the side by the bow. This is actually going relatively quickly. Sometimes instead of putting in ribbon tails, I'll do what's called cascades of ribbon, where it looks like roller coasters of ribbon, where it's like stretched out and kind of follows and it goes down the side of the wreath. And I've done that a lot too. I just didn't feel like I wanted to do that on this wreath. I wanted this one to have tails because for farmhouse, to me, this is a bit more traditional. So we followed that. Sticking with tradition. Tradition's not always a bad thing. All right. Not all traditions are bad. I have a tradition where I, on the weekends, sit around and eat fast food and watch TV. That is a tradition I really need to stop doing. I did it yesterday, though. But I had a reason yesterday. My son came over from his dad's house. He sat with me, and we got to watch 3 hours of anime. Because that's what he likes to watch. So he's 24. He's on the spectrum. Noah is my special kid. He works at Culver's, and but I don't see him that much because he's over by his dad's, which is about a good 35-minute drive away. But it was nice. He came out to spend some time with his little sister, and they got to bond over watching My Hero Academia. So now when he talks about his favorite show, I know what he's talking about. So I was very happy to get to learn what stuff he likes. But of course we got McDonald's, which I'm on Mounjaro, so I really shouldn't be eating that. And I paid the price. I paid the price. But that's all right. Today is a new day. Here we go, twisting these. My fan is not really blowing on me enough right now, so I apologize if you see that I have a sweat stash. It is a very sexy sweat stash, darling. Real women sweat. Well, I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to make it a thing. I'm going to stop trying to make fetch happen. I'm going to make the sweat stash become fashionable. Here we go. It's hard too, because these lights are hot. I tried having a fluorescent light above my workspace, which is great when I'm working by myself. But if I'm on a live, you can actually see it flickering. So because I have the other lights and they're like competing against each other, and it makes this flickering effect. So I have to turn the overhead off when I do that. Like it's off right now. But I have the other, like I guess you would call like the studio type lights on me. And dear God, I'm sweating like a pig. All right. This is the last one that I'm putting in that's on the outside ring. So I'm kind of back to where I started. Gather this up, but I do see another spot on the top right in front of me that I'm going to add one to. Okay, and that's going to be right here. You can see how it looks a little bare. We're going to put one right in there. And I still have one cut, so I have one more I can put somewhere if I feel it's necessary. So I'll need to take a look at the wreath as a whole and see if I can find the hole in the wreath as a whole. All right, now it's going to go in here. Twist it. Now this one, like I said, I'm going to make more of an X shape. There we go. And that covers that. I'm just trying to see where it looks like I might need some. Sorry, I'm looking at it from my point of view here, trying to see. Also, I think I want to tighten my bow. My bow feels like it came loose a little bit. So I'm going to go back and just unflip it from where it was. Just unwrap it along the back. And I just got to pull it and twist it just a little bit more. There we go. That took care of it. You really couldn't see it, but I could kind of tell it was just a little looser than I liked. All right. Okay. That's going good. I think we're good. I do have one more set of tails. And I am going to put it underneath the bow because it just, I can tell it's not under there. So I'm going to put that last set right under there where it belongs. And then that'll fill in our 12. And then it's time to put in the florals, which is fantastic. We all love putting the florals. That's like putting the crown on the hairdo, you know, or putting the jewelry on. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to bring you guys over here and you're going to get to watch me from behind. So please hold on. You're going for a ride. I'll try not to knock you into anything. Oh, knock. It happened. There we go. There's a bag of garbage. All right, let me get my wreath stand. And now it'll be easier to see. When I go to put florals on, I want to be able to do it when it's up and down, not when it's flat. And I will adjust the height of the camera. So bear with me just a moment. All right, now let me go over to you and make sure you guys can see. Here we go, I'm pulling it up. All right, it looks really cute. I'm loving it. All right, drag that over a little bit. All right, this is great. Jeannie, Sharon, thank you guys for watching. A to Z Crafts, thank you. Beck, thanks for watching, guys. All right, so we're about ready to put our florals in here. So I will show you what I have. We're going with white florals. So I have white, really pretty. This has a little bit of yellow in there. So what I think I'm going to do is kind of mix one of these with one of these. I'm going to use some of the larger bushes, but you see how this has yellow center. And then this has yellow centers too, so they're similar. But I'm going to take some of the larger blooms and put them like places like right here, which I know can use it. So that's where it's going to be good for this bloom right here. Look how big that one is. That is a big juicy bloom. All right. So what I like to do is dry fit before I put any glue in. So I like to know exactly where it's going to go. Okay, that looks great. So I can tell I'm putting it between the mesh and the mesh ruffle so that it'll have something to glue onto on both sides. And I like to use my glue gun just because I forgot to get a glue pot out that I always say I'm going to do, and I never do. I never do. Okay, that looks good. Let's see if there's anywhere else that I can secure that stem a little bit more with just a little dab of glue. Yep, just a little tiny bit in there. All right. Now that looks perfect. I love that there. This is coming together so beautifully. Now I'm going to look at this is my next largest bloom. I'm going to snip this off. And I will tell you that this bush, this was an Ashland bush, so this came from Michael's. The original price on it is $12.99, but, you know, watch for sales. You know, I wouldn't pay $12.99, but I would pay like half. But there's a lot of, it's a mixed bush, so it's really nice. I can use a lot of the different stuff on here. I think I might put one down here just for balance, okay? So, I've done that. Here we go. Just for balance. And then I still have, you know what I have to do before I do this? I'm going to cut my ribbon tails just a little bit shorter. Just a hair. All right. Now this one just a hair, because this is almost the same length as the one on the bottom, and I don't want that, so I'm cutting off. I think that's like maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And then this one is a little too long. And then that one's a little too long. Yeah, we'll snip this one too. All right. And this one bends 1, bends twice, bends 3 times. There we go. There, I like how that lays better. Perfect. All right. And I want this loop to cover right down there. Sorry, I know I'm playing with the bow, but I got to make sure I like how my bow lays, because then when I go to put florals up there, I don't want to cover anything. So my bow has to pretty much be finalized for me before I want to put that up there. All right. I think this could be a little shorter. hair. There we go. All right. So I'm going to take this floral and I'm going to put it there. Let's do a dry fit so I can see where I'm going to put it. Let me sit my old self down. All right. I see exactly where I'm going to go with it. So now I'm going to make sure I don't have any, I don't want to put glue on over something else because the glue can drip and then I ruin the rest of my florals. So that's why a glue pot is helpful. I just, you know, didn't get it out. All right, here we go. All right, that is nice and secure. Make sure that feels, yep, feels good. I can also go in and add some more glue as well. And the back there. And then I just got to catch the, see the little tiny wisps of glue? I call it the glue snot because it looks like boogers. But yeah, so we got that coming off there. All right, so we have two pretty big blooms there. Let's see. We want some smaller white ones. Cut this off here. I think maybe somewhere in here would be really pretty. That'll work. This is what makes it all come together is when we start adding in the florals and whatnot, and that's just going to look so elegant. Also, if you saw what I did, I was able to take one of those little red tines, and I kind of wrapped it around the base. I can kind of poke that back up there. All right, and then just like I said before, I knew I was going to have to do this. I want to go tighten my sign a little bit more. As the mesh starts to squish a little bit more, you probably need to go tighten your sign. So that's why when you put your sign on, don't make it like the final tightening of it because you're gonna have to go back. You don't have to, but it's likely you will want to. Okay, Farm Fresh Farm. Here we go. All right, that looks really pretty. I think maybe something on the top now. Like right up here, coming down from there. So let's do that. I don't think I need to dry fit. I think I can just go in with the glue on this one. Perfect. And I could bring this through, so it kind of pokes through some of the ribbon tails in the back, but it's really helping to balance out with some of the pull this down a little bit. I don't want to have a gap here, so I want to, there we go. Let me pull it through. There we go. Nice. Okay. Let's see what else here. I got some greenery. Got some of this. I'll pull some of that off. I think right around that side will look really nice. And then I do have that smaller other bush that I can put some smaller buds in. There we go. Ouch. Do not put glue on there and then have it on the other side of your mesh and then push down because the glue goes through the mesh and you end up with glue on your thumb. This one wasn't that bad, but I have hurt myself pretty badly before. So I don't want anyone getting hurt. Not on my watch. Okay, now I got some of these smaller ones. So let's put some smaller ones in. I'm going to push some of these leaves up because I want to capture the greenery. Now this one was from Old Time Pottery. This bush was $4.99. I probably got it a year ago, maybe more, because I haven't been to an Old Time Pottery in a long freaking time. So I think this is definitely an older bush. There we go. I'll push it a little bit more. Sometimes it's going through the mesh just when we have to glue it because we want to make sure it's secured on whatever we put it on. So there we go. That's in there. I'm gonna add a little bit extra right back here. That's why I do like when you use an evergreen wreath, it is much easier to be able to glue your florals in there. There we go. All right. Now let's add up top right there. I'm going to add a little bit. So we're going to dab some, hold on, push it up a little bit more. Cut this off. We don't need quite so long of a stem. Add some glue onto that baby. There we go. Oh, it's looking so pretty. I do see a little bit. All right. I like the green. I like the green coming up off here. So I'm going to try to put some more right over here, right there. I do want it to stick up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. That wasn't staying that great, so I'm going to turn some off and I'm going to put it back in and add some more glue. Sometimes you just gotta, if it doesn't feel right, then just, you can still move it most of the time. There we go. There we go. Just a little hint, a little peek, right? Just a little peek. All right. I do have some larger blooms here, so let's see where we can put some of this again. Maybe right in here, I think. Yeah, so I'm going to cut off some of that stem. Sorry, I'm moving it so you can kind of see where I am putting it in. All right, so I give it a little tug just to make sure that it's taken, so to speak. All right, another one of these I'm going to put coming down kind of right here because I think that will look really pretty. Probably take some of the stem off though. So we're working the right side of the wreath right now. Get in there. Oh. That's why. Sorry. I'm going to try that again. Once more with feeling. Sometimes it takes 2 tries. All right. There you go. And I think because we did it over there, we like to add a little bit more of that longer greenery, maybe kind of coming down here a little bit. All right. I'll pull this down a little bit though. I don't want the leaves necessarily to be that long. So I might end up putting glue on the leaves a little bit. All right. Gotta make sure I show my face so the Facebook doesn't think I left. I'm still here. That's not working well. Now I'm gonna go put it somewhere else. Try it again. There we go. There, perfect. We just got a little hint of green hanging out. That's all I wanted, was just a little bit. All right. Trying to think if yeah, I think a little bit over here, because we don't necessarily want another flower. But what I can also do is open up these tines, kind of stick it in there, and twist it in there. And then I know it's in there, but I can always try to bring it around the front so it goes kind of in front of those tines. All right. And now I can go back and add a little bit of glue toward the bottom there where it went in. But just using these little tines to like wrap around it, the little branchy things. That's probably another technical term, but then it helps it stay secure. So there we go. Got this pretty little thing here. Oh, that would be really pretty to have kind of coming out kind of right down that way. I like that. I like that. I'm going to cut a little bit off. Add a little bit of glue. Oh, that's nice. I like that. All right, we got one more of these things. I don't know. I think there's a little bit, I need to add some kind of greenery or something in there. But I think I might use this. Yeah, it just needs a little something in there. Just a little something. But not necessarily a flower, because I've already got a lot of flowers around there. So I think just a little touch of that right there. Got that going around. The only other thing I'd like to see is a little bit of something coming out from under here. Just poking out just a little tiny bit. So maybe I'm going to do this, okay? See if I can get that. Let me see what I got. Yep, that'll work. It's like it was made to go up there because I can slide it right in and I can feel on either side that it's got something to hold on to, but it's not going to be jammed in there. All right, just a little bit, just so we can see, just in case you happen to look between there, I want to see a little bit of greenery. I don't want it to be a void space. All right, I think I got one more flower to add. Sorry, I saw a spot. Over here, I think it looks a little empty. So we want to add a little bit right in there. Okay, let's take off the price tag first. There we go. All right, let me see where I think it would go. Go well. No, that's too close to that one, but I could put it right in here. Yeah, okay. I know where. That's why I always like to do a dry fit before. Then I really know where I'm going. I don't have to guess. I know the path. All right, add a little bit more glue now that I know exactly where it's meant to be. Like a little final dab. All right. And I think this is going to be it. The only other thing is maybe a tiny, not with these leaves, but it's a little bit coming out from right there. I think that would be perfect. Perfect. Just kind of peeking, a little peeky. All right. Okay, so let me back you up. And you guys can take a look at, this is the final Farm Fresh wreath. Do a little bit over that way. So we did this on, I guess it's the 15 to 20 inch metal wreath frame that I got from Craft Outlet. Most of these ribbons you can get from Craft Outlet or DecoExchange. There is a link tree in my bio for an affiliate link to DecoExchange. And then we got the sign from Craft Outlet as well. The florals came from Old Time Pottery for the smaller ones, and the larger ones came from Michael's. And that's pretty much it. So this little baby, this is one of 2 wreaths I am making for Loretta. I will probably start the next one tomorrow or the day after. It all depends on the schedule. But I do have lots of other wreaths that are already done and waiting at sweetariadecor.com, where everything right now that I have listed out there, all the pre-made wreaths are all 15% off. That's running through, I think, June 12th. So that's coming up at an end. So if you want to get your Patriotic, now is the time. Now is a good time to get your Patriotic wreaths because they're on sale. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Your support means everything to me. You kept me company during lunch, and I appreciate it. So have yourselves a great day, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.